Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another video. So I wanted to quickly talk about what's coming for Fortnite OG, and then maybe the chapter after that, like a month later. And I guess as you guys know, on November 3rd, like I said, is the new season called OG. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is actually, I think, my first game of Fortnite, which I believe was Chapter 1, Season 3. And ever since then, I never stopped playing. I took some breaks to play Blackout back then, and never really did PUBG or any other battle royales. I do play some Apex nowadays, but Apex I think was a little bit too easy, and it was kind of like a multiplayer more than a battle royale. So I started with Apex and then took a long break, then started playing that a couple months ago again. And like I said, so what I want to talk about mainly is the fact that it looks like Fortnite is connecting a lot of stuff a little bit better than they did in the past. I know at the time when you're riding, I guess probably like a lightning bolt, so to speak, because as you guys know, Fortnite blew up so fast for so long, and sometimes when you're going, you just have to pump out new content, and then you don't have time to really connect or explain stuff. You just kind of have to uh, come out with newer stuff. And the funny part is, Fortnite, like I said, was so hot so quickly for so long that a lot of the story and the events were coming every single day, every single week. They were doing updates and hot fixes. And what I like is it looks like either it was planned or maybe now, since it's been 5 years, it looks like they're finally, or in my opinion, finally, or maybe I'm just seeing it for the first time, how they're explaining a lot of stuff, connecting stuff together. And that's what I really love about it's not really a multiverse, but maybe it is a multiverse with a lot of other movies and TV shows where they'll have like maybe like 10 seasons. I think maybe even American Horror Story might be a good example how they made like all these different seasons, but none of them really connected. So I think that's what's good. What Fortnite's doing is they made literally 4 chapters and a ton of seasons, and some of it connected. There were stories about the Seven, saving the island from the IO and stuff like that. But it looks like they're connecting other stuff that never really connected before, maybe giving an explanation. Either it was planned. I mean, I know devs, and I've said this with Call of Duty, Black Ops, Zombies, is the devs are so smart. And I know the writer for Lost said that too. Like, what we're thinking or what we think is a great idea is something they already thought about like 6 months ago or months ago, where the fans might have these great ideas, but they've already figured that out, or thought about it, or fixed stuff, or came up with new ideas months ago. So it looks like it's a great idea, either in hindsight or it was planned. That, like I said, Chapter 1, Season 10 is going to have an explanation, and then time travel. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of rifting that was in Fortnite, either by design. Like I said, I know they're really smart, so I'm going to give them more credit towards it was planned, more than now them going back. But as a fan, it looks like it's going back and they're roping and explaining stuff, and that's called like tying up loose ends, where we never got an explanation about those rifts in season 5 of Chapter 1. Now it looks like again that they're going back and they're tying up loose ends, which is kind of a good thing, because that looks like, and I've said this on Twitter a bunch of times, it looks like it's almost the end of the first set of chapters that are, let's tie up all these loose ends, let's explain the rifting that happened, let's explain what Chapter 1 Season 10 out of time means. And for me, that means, and this is why I'm saying it seems so clever now, that it looks like Kato Thorne's time machine, and of course time machine. It looks like it's a doomsday clock. You have to Google and know what a doomsday clock is. I'm not going to really explain it, but basically a doomsday clock is something that keeps track of how volatile maybe a planet or a country or whatever it is, and then eventually, as the clock ticks down and it gets more volatile, it's doomsday, which means the end of the world. Now, chapter 1, season 10 is looking like where this is supposed to end. This short season is supposed to end in chapter 10, chapter 1, season 10, which coincidentally, like I said, is called Out of Time. And when a doomsday clock is out of time, then it's doomsday, and we're gonna probably get the black hole event. But like I said, and that was the one thing. Like I said, I played Fortnite, the first chapter, the second chapter. I think the third chapter, all of them. But it always stuck out to me that like nothing really connected. There was this vague story about the Seven and the IO taking over the island. Stuff taken from pop culture, which I'm not really gonna say because I don't think I've seen too many people talk about it. Sometimes I feel like it's not my place to explain stuff. But there was always these two factions, and that's what we got in chapter 4. That no matter how long ago it was, there were always these two factions fighting over the island. But aside from that, like I said, the characters didn't have any backstory. That was something that stuck out to me. Once I got more familiar with how video games are made, especially in Call of Duty Zombies, Call of Duty Campaign, you had all these random, except for Jonesy and maybe a couple characters, but a lot of the OG characters never really had a backstory. Now, being that the way I'm gonna say the environment is nowadays, I don't think Fortnite can go back and necessarily write a story for every single character. Um, because times have changed, and obviously, I know it's kind of the elephant in the room is Fortnite is not as big as it was in chapter 1. Um, but again, with that being said, it would be nice if they had the time, the budget, the manpower to fill in the dots, or connect the dots, or fill in the blanks, and kind of give some story for some of these characters. And that was something that always stuck out to me. Now, it's not necessarily giving some answers to the characters, but it is giving some answers for the seasons and the randomness, I guess we would have thought back then. But like I said, devs are so clever. Content creators, fans think, they're smart, think that they could write a better video game. But the devs are super smart. And we're learning that now, that, oh man, all that stuff that we thought back then that didn't make sense, where the cube came from, and stuff like that, that's all finally gonna, start being answered. Either, like I said, it being planned, which it probably was, or now they're looking back and connecting some dots. Like I said, I would I would love it, and I know Fortnite's still going to be around for a long time because it's still the most popular video game right now. Well, maybe second. I think Minecraft, but I think, yeah, Minecraft and Fortnite, and then Call of Duty. But like I said, I would love to get some answers for those characters. I know they've been doing that for the newer ones. The newer ones now have a backstory. You're doing quests for some of the characters, and we're getting the crews, I guess, or the heist crew together. We're learning the backstory of them, and stuff like that. But that was the one thing that always stuck out to me, or eventually started sticking out, is like you're playing this game with all these characters, or skins, I guess, or whatever, and none of them really had a story. So I'm thinking that's kind of cool now that they're again filling in some of the blanks and connecting the dots. So that's, again, something that's really awesome. Looking forward to. Now, as far as chapter 5, I mean, or what we're calling chapter 5, because it feels like it's going to be a whole new set of chapters that they're, again, tying up loose ends for these first sets, and then maybe starting a new set. Now, the only thing I have to be honest about that I've noticed is a lot of content creators when you watch them do the live events or the end season events, they have no idea what's going on because they don't look into the story, they don't do the quest. I know that's just, I don't know if that's something they're willing to work on to get people to do the quests more, um, or understand the story more. But uh, and I know they've kind of swayed away from a main story, doing a lot of quests and stuff like that. Because once the live events come around, the end season events, we learned that with Fracture, maybe even Collision. Some people didn't even know who the Paradigm was when we did the live event. Um, so I don't know how much time they're going to invest, time, budget, manpower they're going to invest into doing the story. But the theory that's going around right now is the fact that people are thinking that uh, this is going to be the end and we're going to get a whole new story. But as far as like stories are concerned, it would be great in a perfect world. It would be great for the probably the like minority, like myself, the 1%, 2%, 3% that actually do the story and the quest and stuff like that. And I know maybe more people just do it for, the XP and stuff like that. But again, it would be nice to have a new story, something different, maybe something a little bit more. I don't want to say mature, but um, a more. I know we kind of like mini stories, and that's the other thing too. Every season kind of has like a venture quest. These are kind of like venture quests, and then there's a main story, like the main story being right now about Kato Thorne and Time Machine. But then the Venture Quest, which if you don't know what Venture Quest is, it's something from the Zombies mode, Save the World, where there's like these little side stories, but then there's the main story about defeating the Storm King and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're gonna stick to maybe just doing like little side quests, story quests, venture quests, or what they're gonna do with the main story, because again, the unfortunate truth is the huge content creators, some of them do theories. I mean, that's great. A lot of them explain the story from back then, but uh, let's say there's out of the 10 big content creators, I'm gonna be generous and say like 50% of them do the story, understand the story that's going on, know who. Some of them don't even or didn't even know who Peely was. They don't know. Uh, they know who The Rock was in the story and stuff like that. Or they knew of The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but they didn't really know his character's name, the Foundation, or what he did, or what he was all about. But I wonder how heavy it's going to be on story going into the next chapter. And again, the reason I say that is because it looks like we're going to get a new set of chapters and seasons. But at the other hand, like I said, how much people really invest their time into the story. I love Save the World. Unfortunately, they don't do any more venture quests or any main stories. Um, but I would love in a perfect world, or maybe I wonder if Epic Games Fortnite would ever do what I think Valorant does. Not is it Valorant? No, Overwatch does, where you actually pay for the story. Maybe they should do something like that where content creators, again, unfortunately do not care about the story. Most, I would say 50%, maybe even 60%, 70%. They're really just there to get kills and content. They're not there to do stories. And that was the problem that Call of Duty ran into, supposedly why they got rid of the campaigns, because people weren't really playing campaigns. It was all about multiplayer battle royale, and the campaign was kind of a side story. Again, so I'm just gonna wrap it up with that. I would love to see what the new story would be in the next chapter, either if it's chapter 5 or chapter 1. Or I would be willing to pay for some extra story stuff. I even said that with I think I even said that with Save the World, but I think the unfortunate thing, they can't do that legally. I don't think they can do that. Um, I wonder if they ever go down the route of Overwatch and just kind of You pay for the story, you get a bundle, you get a couple things. Because I would love to know what the story is, or them to continue the story or start a new story. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.